Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the Beis HaLevi on AHAVAS YISRAEL. And we began yesterday speaking about the mitzvah of Ve'aftam es hager, that a Jew has an obligation to show extra love to a ger, to a convert, even more so than to a Jew from birth. Because, as we pointed out, there's two mitzvahs here. There's the mitzvah Ve'afta l'recha kamoicha. You have to love your fellow Jew the way that you love yourself. Once someone converts, they're your fellow Jew. So why is that not enough? And we pointed out from the Sefer HaChinuch because since that a ger who is relatively a stranger to our religion, to the community, to the whole way in which things are running in the world of Yiddishkeit, in the world of Judaism, and so on and so forth. So there's always going to be a bit of anxiety and perhaps nervousness and uncomfortable feelings. How are people looking at them? How do people feel about them? What do people think about them? I myself had once a ger cry to me to say that it's so hard when she's in the community to feel the eyes upon her, to feel the way that people talk down to her or look at her as a result of her not looking like everybody else. And it's painful, which means that the Jewish people are not doing the mitzvah that they're supposed to, which is v'aftam es hager. The more different that somebody is, the more we have to show our love and our acceptance and our appreciation and the value of who they are. And the Sefer HaChinuch and others write, where do we learn this from? Because it says like this, V'aftam es hager, the reason that you have a mitzvah to love the ger, the convert, ki gerim hayisem be'eretz Mitzrayim, because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Were we converts in the land of Egypt? No, we were not converts, but we were strangers in the land of Egypt. We looked different, we acted different, we were a different nation altogether. And therefore there was an uncomfortable feeling that Klal Yisrael had while we were there in the land of Egypt. So says the Torah, you know what it feels like to be different. You know what it feels like to look different. You know what it feels like to speak a different language, to speak in a different way. You know what it feels like not to be the majority, but to be the minority. You know what that feels like. And since that the Jewish people understand that, it's embedded in our DNA. And if we go back into the Torah, we'll see the story of Klal Yisrael. So therefore, since that we were once in that position ourselves, to be strangers in a land that was not unto us, therefore there is a mitzvah, v'aftam es hager, you must love the ger, who will call it is a stranger to the Jewish people at this point. And therefore, as a result of that, we learn out a very important lesson. Anyone that is a ger, that is a stranger to our nation, anyone that is a stranger to our community, anyone that is a stranger to our neighborhoods, to our shuls, to our schools, they are all in the category of a ger, not necessarily a convert, but they're in the category of being someone that is a stranger. And since that we once were strangers in a land not unto us, so we understand that. I feel we have to show them extra love, extra TLC. And therefore, they learn out from this that Balei Teshuva of our generations, those that were not religious and they became religious, there's always an uncomfortable feeling that the Balei Teshuva have in the world of the FFB, of the from birth. They will talk differently, they will pronounce words differently, they will sometimes dress differently. It will be clear very often that a Baal Teshuva is a Baal Teshuva. They can never lose that status, even they could have children and grandchildren, but they'll always remain a Baal Teshuva. And therefore sometimes when they walk into a religious setting, when they walk into a shul where they've never been before, when they get called up for an aliyah to the Torah, and they know that they sound different than the average Yosef, the average Joe that is there in the shul. So there's a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of being uncomfortable, a little bit their hands start to sweat, their heart starts to pound a little bit more because they're not sure what is everybody going to think about them. And therefore, v'aftam es hager, you have to love that ger. And that would be also someone is passing through town and they come to your shul and they've never been there before. They're a stranger in your shul. They need a good shalom aleichem, a smiling countenance, a hand on the shoulder. Welcome to the community. So nice to see you. Where you're coming from. Make them feel at home. Make them feel at ease. What about all the children and the adults, Rachmana litzlan, that have become estranged to Yiddishkeit? They're not the frum child that they once were. They walk into a shul, you think they don't feel uncomfortable. You think they don't feel like they don't belong over there. You think they don't feel all the eyes of the shul on them, looking at them, wondering what happened to you. They're a stranger. Sometimes in the own shul that they grew up in, they become a stranger. And therefore, don't look down. Don't make some joke. Don't be sarcastic. Don't give them a look. Don't cut them down. Chas v'chalila, that is a person, that is a child, that is a teenager, sometimes even an adult, that needs v'aftem esager. They need to be loved. They need to be embraced. They need to feel secure. They need to know that they are being accepted. When a person does that, you're fulfilling the mitzvah of v'afta l'reyecha kamoicha, and you're fulfilling the mitzvah of after mesager. Why? Because you also were once a stranger. And I'm sure that each and every one of us also, we once walked into a shul and we felt uncomfortable because we were never there before, and that one person who came over made us feel good. Baruch Hashem, we felt good. And we also went to chasanas, to weddings and bar mitzvahs and simchas, but we didn't know so many people and we felt a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit uncertain about ourselves. Somebody came over, put their arm around us. How are you? Welcome. So nice to see you. They put us at ease. Everybody has been a ger at some point in their life, and therefore, if we go all the way back, we were all gerim, and Be'ez Hashem will use this opportunity to work on ourselves, to bring out the true ava, the true love that's in our hearts for each and every Jew, regardless of their background, regardless of where they're holding, regardless of what they're doing, but just to show that the Torah is obligating me to love my fellow Jew. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.